chose to highlight this because it does have a couple local ingredients, and it's been a popular seller. Softshell crab has a really short season, so it's kind of a cool dish to have that's, again, seasonal, it's local. So it's been selling really well. We've gotten some really good feedback. It's something nice and simple, fresh, still kind of in that summery vibe. Yeah, so I mean, this is, again, like he was saying, this is kind of bringing together, for me, like my style, I use a lot of different flavors from kind of around the world and different ethnic flavors. So like we have kind of the Succcotash, which is kind of a Southern staple, an American staple. And then like the sauce, which is a Bangalore sauce, which has some kind of Asian, Indian influence in there. And then obviously the low country soft shell crabs that are local from Buford. First, I've got the Succcotash here. This is kind of the final mix. And then these are the separate ingredients. We got the edamame, the soybeans, the blanched soybeans. This is a mix of roasted corn, a little bit of poblano pepper for just a little heat, and some charred onions in there. And then this is just some diced fresh sweet red bell pepper. And so this is it all together. And I'm just gonna kind of warm that up, saute it a little bit in a little bit of blended oil. And this is just gonna be real simple, seasoned with a little salt, pepper, a little bit of parsley. And that's gonna be the base of the dish. That kind of has your starch, in a sense, like the beans, the corn, it's kind of your starch and your veg all in one. So we'll just kind of get that in the pan, medium low heat, hit it with a little seasoning.
Now, where did you get the concept for this dish?
I mean, again, this was kind of just like, it happened to be that crabs were in season. And I tend to, a lot of stuff will just be kind of what's coming up, what's the, for restaurant week, what's kind of in season, what's looking good right now, what can we get? Because a lot of stuff can be tough to find right now, just coming out of, what's been going on. But again, this was to me kind of a nice mix of something people might be familiar with soft shell crabs, and the Succcotash was something that people might not be familiar with. And again, it's kind of the thing for us, trying to be that chef driven. And for me, it's trying to show people some flavors that they might not have experienced before,
And just like you said, that's great about collaborating with Chef Cory with this, because it is kind of like a simple dish, but with what he's adding to it, and then also the international flair that he's adding to it.
It's something that might draw someone in because they're like, oh yeah, I like, Succcotash, I like corn and some simple things like fried crab. And then they might be intrigued by, well, what's Bangalore sauce? And then, even the microgreens, which is another local thing. Those are from Columbia, South Carolina. They're like a micro pea greens. So they give it another kind of fresh layer of kind of an Asian flavor to it. If you've ever had snow peas before, or like fresh spring peas, it has that same exact flavor. It just tastes like a fresh pea. That's what you find with a lot of microgreens. It's cool as a garnish because it looks really nice. It's smaller, but it's gonna have the same flavor component as whatever it's the smaller version of. So it's nice because you can put a nice little punch of flavor without having to do a whole side or a whole dish of it. So it just adds another layer. So we got the Succcotash. Again, that's pretty much just seared it a little bit, just a real quick warm it up, a little bit of that oil, salt, pepper, and a little parsley in there. And then, so this is gonna be, normally at the restaurant, we use the deep fryer. When we do the crab, this is gonna be the same idea, this shallow fry in the pan. So we got the soft shell, I'm gonna go ahead and drop it in. So while the Succcotash is resting, I got this breaded up, a little bit of buttermilk. And then this is a clam fry, which is kind of a mix of corn flour, wheat flour. And we got that guy dredged in there. And so I'm gonna go ahead and drop him in the oil. But it's gonna taste just like, if you like crab, if you like the sweet crab, that flavor. I know for me, like in Los Angeles growing up, we'd go to the pier and they had California king crab, and I mean, it was.
And how do you know when it's done? Is it just by the color?
Yeah, so for this, I'm essentially going by the color. We got a nice golden brown all the way around. Like I said, it doesn't take long because it's a pretty small crab, I mean, in general, compared to other large crabs. So you really just want to cook it through. You don't want to dry it out. When we do it in the fryer at the restaurant, it's, maybe like a minute to 2 minutes, kind of depending, but you just want that nice color on there. And then while it's still warm, give it a little seasoning. And so this is kind of a thing that some people might, this is another kind of introducing people to soft shell if they haven't had it before. It's kind of weird, right? For people, if you cut it open, it still kind of has some of that different, you're not just eating the meat out of the leg, right? It's got some of the inside still in there. So it's, I personally enjoy that. You get some different flavor. You get a little bit more of that like oceany flavor than if you were to just eat a crab leg, right? So I'd say it has a little more textural and flavor contrast in there than just eating crab, like if you're just cracking open crab legs, right? So it's a little more exciting. Obviously, presentation-wise, it looks a little bit more intriguing. So yeah,
It looks amazing.